Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red this Thursday morning. Bit cold and maybe it's going to brighten up today. We'll see. Matthew chapter 18, verse 22. Peter, having been given this incredible teaching by Jesus, is provoked within himself by a question as to how many times he should forgive his brother. And he suggests a number, and the number 7 is a complete number. And Peter suggests 7 times should I forgive Jesus. He says to Jesus, 7 times should I forgive my brother? And Jesus, in response to Peter, said these words, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 77 times. So Peter suggests a number that he thinks perhaps is adequate, because it's the number completion, to forgive his brother. So if his brother comes to him 7 times and does wrong to him, then for 7 times he's going to forgive his brother. But after 7, that's it, that's enough. Or maybe he's thinking that 7 times is actually the right number to forgive people. But Jesus says, no, Peter, not 7 times, the complete number, but up to 70 times 7. And there's a sense of, no, Peter, this number is not just completion, but it's beyond completion. It's again and again and again. It's the perfect reality of always being in a position where you're ready to forgive your brother. And you might think, well, why should we be sitting there now thinking people can offend us and abuse us and cause us harm and hurt and emotional sadness and take things for, well, we've got to keep on forgiving them? Well, should we be Christians and allow people just to abuse us? And should we just sit back there and take everything? And no. But the reality of how we mend something ultimately is we have to forgive. It doesn't matter what war there is. In the end, people have to sit down and talk about how they're going to live in the term of peace after the term of war. And the reality of forgiveness really lays down a foundation that enables you to build on whatever it is that you're going to have by way of relationship in the future. I mean, after the Second World War, when the Russians built that wall, they made their choice as to how they would relate to the rest of Europe and the world, because they didn't want to lose, in effect, what they had gained. And so they took possession of their perspective and they made sure that everyone knew about it. But of course, the wall came down eventually. And that's the reality of all things. If people are going to live in harmony with one another, they have to learn to forgive one another. And forgiveness, by and large, is that which releases you from the problem that's been occurred by your brother. When your brother sins against you, if you harbour that sin, that hostility towards your brother, the only person that's suffering is you. And Jesus is in effect protecting you when you forgive your brother 70 times 7. It doesn't matter how many times. Live in that reality of forgiveness of your brother, because everything that you've not dealt with by way of forgiving your brother is poisoning you today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day until you forgive your brother. You have to forgive whoever sins against you, because if you don't, you poison yourself in all of your tomorrows. Forgiveness is what releases you from the poison that's killing you inside, emotionally and spiritually and socially. And it's just not doing you any good. Jesus is saying, find release for yourself by forgiving your brother. Come to God and ask God to forgive you for the hostility that's in your heart to your brother. And then release your brother to God's reality in terms of how he would treat your brother. Have a great day, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow.